Grandmother's voice begins, warm and calm, as the children settle at her feet. Ah, children, come closer. Let me tell you a story passed down from my grandmother, and now I shall pass it to you. This tale is not about magic spells or mighty dragons, but it holds something far more powerful, a lesson for life. Many years ago, in a small quiet village nestled between green hills and winding rivers, there lived a boy named Arif. Arif was no warrior, no prince, and no great inventor. He was just like many of you, curious, full of questions, and always wondering what made people kind or sometimes unkind. Arif lived with his mother, a kind woman who worked as a weaver, and his younger sister, Layla. Their house was small, but filled with warmth, laughter, and the smell of fresh bread. Now, this village was known for one strange thing. Each house had a lantern hanging on its front porch, and that lantern only burned when someone inside the house had done a good deed that day. Yes, you heard me right. The lanterns had a strange glow to them. No one lit them by hand. They lit on their own when kindness was done, and flickered out when selfishness ruled. Every evening, when the sky turned orange and purple, the children of the village would walk the paths and watch which lanterns shone the brightest. It was a simple way to know who was kind, and who might need a reminder to be so. Now Arif, like any boy his age, wanted their lantern to burn brighter than all others. And most nights it did. His mother always helped the sick. Arif helped carry water for old aunties, and Layla once shared her only scarf with a beggar child. But one day something changed. It was the beginning of the dry season. The river had slowed, and the wells coughed dust instead of water. People grew irritable. The trees drooped, and the birds stopped singing in the morning. With little water, Arif had to walk farther and farther to fetch it. That morning, Arif was already annoyed. He had dropped his bread in the dust, Layla had spilled tea on his tunic, and the sun was hotter than usual. Muttering under his breath, he grabbed 2 empty pots and set off toward the hills, where a small spring still trickled. On the way, he saw something that made him stop. A girl around Layla's age sat under a tree, barefoot and shivering. Her clothes were torn, and her eyes were the color of old ash, lifeless. She looked thirsty. She raised her hand feebly and whispered, "Water." Arif felt a twist in his heart, but then remembered the long path, the heavy pots, and the heat already making his back damp. He muttered, "I have enough for my family only," and walked past. He did fetch the water. It was cold, clear, and heavy. But as he walked back down the slope, his thoughts grew heavier than the pots. That evening, as he reached his home and placed the water down, he noticed something odd. Their lantern didn't light. For the first time in months, the porch was dark. Layla stepped outside, confused. Did it break? Their mother frowned. "I hope not." Arif remained silent. He didn't sleep well that night. The dark porch haunted him more than any monster. He woke up the next morning tired and quiet. The girl was still under the tree. But this time Arif did something different. Without saying a word, he placed one of the water pots in front of her and waited. She looked at him, surprised. Then, with trembling hands, she drank. Her face softened, color returned to her cheeks, and her lips, cracked and dry, turned up into the smallest of smiles. You're kind," she whispered. Arif shrugged. "I wasn't yesterday." When he returned home, the lantern was not just glowing. It blazed like fireflies dancing in golden light. Layla clapped and shouted, "It's even brighter than before." Their mother looked at Arif, smiling knowingly. Sometimes the kindest deeds are the ones hardest to do. Children, you might be wondering, what happened to the girl? She was taken in by another family. She grew strong and even became Arif's friend. And as the dry season passed, people said they saw her lantern glow even on cloudy days. But here's the real twist. Years later, Arif grew into a man. He became the caretaker of the village lanterns, teaching children how to earn their light, not by buying gifts or showing off, but through real acts of compassion, carrying water, sharing food, forgiving mistakes. One day, when he was old and gray like me, he met a boy with eyes full of questions. The boy asked, "Why do lanterns stop burning sometimes?" And Arif said, "Because they wait for you to remember the kindness you forgot." The grandmother pauses here, looking at each child, her eyes sparkling. Now, my dears, what do you think this story means? Yes, kindness isn't always easy. Sometimes you'll be tired, angry, or feel like someone doesn't deserve your help. But that's when your kindness matters most. You see, anyone can be kind when it's easy. But the lanterns of life, the ones that matter, light up when you do the right thing even when it's hard. And no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. So the next time you pass someone who needs help, or your little brother wants to play when you want to be alone, or a friend at school drops their books, remember Arif. And remember the lantern. You never know how far your light will reach. The children sit quietly for a moment, soaking in the story. One of them whispers, "I want our lantern to burn bright too." The grandmother smiles. "Then begin today, child. The lantern is always waiting." Moral of the story. Kindness is most powerful when it is least convenient. The brightest lanterns are lit by selfless acts.